Hey, what's going on, guys? Good morning and welcome to the stream. It's going to be a little bit different today. Mike is gone, so it's going to be me going solo, but welcome to the stream. Jesse, I'm Fierce, Bradley, thank you guys for the comments. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the hot tub the hot tub stream sim said, yeah, that had me going, didn't it? I'm Fierce. Yeah, overall,
what's going on, guys?
Really
Good morning
nice
and
today.
welcome to the
We're
stream.
Seeing the
It's gonna
SPY
be a
really
little bit
different
different
today.
which is a pretty
Mike
nice
is
thing to
gone,
see,
so it's going to
actually.
be me going
And
solo. But with the SPY actually ripping up, I think it might bring the overall market obviously back up with it. And we're seeing AMC actually pop up this morning as well, kind of in pre-market. So that's a good sign. You know, it's a good sign to see it kind of holding its level, popping above that 100 SMA and kind of hovering around $50. I think that's going to be a pretty good level for it to hold today. And if we go look at the SPY here on the 5-minute chart, you can really see how it's ripping up and even breaking the high of pre-market as we're going, and it really rocketed up above 420, which was a pretty key resistance for it. And I think the SPY is just looking pretty strong today, actually. And if it does sell off at open, it would be a pretty big surprise given the movement that we're seeing. But let's go ahead and find some key resistances here on the SPY. It looks like 421 is definitely going to be one, so watch out for that. If we can't break above 421, I'll be a little bit worried, but let's go. Hopefully the SPY can keep rocketing up and make the market go up with it. But the main thing is AMC today, of course. I know everybody's going to be watching AMC and BlackBerry, maybe SNDL also, but man, here we go. SNDL, or BlackBerry I should say, is actually going red at open. Let's go back to AMC, see how that one's doing. Yeah, red just right on open, but here we go. A green candle on the 1 minute. That's nice to see. Actually, right off the 100 SMA. So start ripping up AMC. Break above the 1,000 SMA, please. I'd be pretty happy. I'm glad it's holding $50. And there we go. Look at that. Big green candle on AMC. Come on, break above the 1,000. That's all we need. And I think this thing could keep going, man. Oh, yeah, let's go see. Dang, morning Tom. Yeah, that's the Tom show today. Let's go AMC. Thank you. Yeah, this is pretty nice. AMC better start ripping. Hopefully it can start to get back up, man. I mean, I know this is hurting a lot of people with it being down, so start to get back up. Go to 72, please. That would be a pretty nice move today. If we look at the 15-minute, I would say coming up today, there is a key resistance actually right around $53, where kind of like where we're at right now, but I'm assuming it's going to break that with the way it's moving up. And let's see, if we break up, I think there's a key resistance also coming up at 58. I think that's going to be a pretty good level so far this morning. It seems like that's a key resistance over the past few days. Let me go ahead and make a little technical here. I'll draw a little resistance line, and I'll even make it blue for us. So let's go ahead and watch that as we go on today. See if we can head back up somewhere towards $58. And yeah, let's go check out BlackBerry. Shelby says, let's go BB. This looks like a very nice play, actually, and it's starting to rocket up, kind of like AMC. So start to get up there. Hopefully these growth stocks or hype stocks like AMC, GME, BB can start to really get up. And I wonder how SPY's moving so far at open, and it's starting to really rocket up now, up above that resistance this morning, about around 420.80, and it's rocketing up to 421 where there's a key resistance. So watch out. It might have some consolidation here, or it might start ripping up through 421. We'll have to see what it ends up doing, but looks like it's ripping up through here. Justin, why don't you show your ugly mug in any of these videos? Yeah, right. We might start doing that in the future. Once we actually get a pretty good like streaming setup going, you know, like we're gonna go ahead and get like a streaming setup or like an office eventually, and so that'll be the end goal, is to go ahead and get like a very good setup, kind of like Joe Rogan or like Logan Paul or someone like that, you know, for a pretty good podcast. But overall this morning, it's looking pretty good still. SPY still rocketing up pretty good, up above 421, hitting 421.20. It's looking really good, actually. Let's go see AMC. And guys, let me know down in the comments what stocks you guys are watching. But AMC is starting to go red now off of that 55 resistance, but just a little bit. I think it could still keep going up today. It has a lot of potential to it. And if we go look at a quick pre-market screener here, it said SPGI was running in pre-market, which follows the S&P 500, and it was up a little bit, but the SPY overall is still ripping. Let's check the QQQ for tech, and tech is going up also. And here, I'll just go ahead and bring my watch list up on the left-hand side of my screen really quick, and we can see pretty much all my almost all my stocks are green today. We got Nvidia ripping again, up above 690. I mean, man, I'm targeting $700, I think, on Nvidia. This is looking like a pretty solid setup here. I actually really like Nvidia over the past couple of days. It's just been very steadily stair stepping to the upside ever since that split announcement came out, and it's just been great news for the stock. And keep in mind, Apple and Tesla rocketed up into their split too, and then fell a little bit right after the split. So I think Nvidia is going to do great heading into that split. It might fall after it, but yeah, I think that's the main thing there with Nvidia is that split news, making it really fly. But Corbin says WKS and PLTR. Let's go check out Workhorse and Palantir. Oh, Workhorse, yeah, it's actually yeah, it was down a lot yesterday in after hours, and it's rocketing back up today, which is nice to see. It actually held this support right around like 1330 very well this morning. So hopefully we can start to hold that for Workhorse and get back up there. You can actually see how defined this was off of this support level, and it had a pretty good move back to the upside here. And let's go ahead and make it break above $15 today. I think though it seems like that's going to be a pretty solid resistance, and on the 1 minute you can see it's coming down pretty hard. Hopefully sorry, I had to grab a drink, but hopefully the overall market does not start to fall this morning. But here's the SPY. It is starting to consolidate. I was hoping it would keep ripping up, but it could still rip later in the day. But as of right now, it looks like it is consolidating. There was a pretty big move up today in pre-market, which you know, to say the least, that I'm not surprised to see it kind of consolidating now at open with this humongous rise that we saw. And we're right around that resistance at like 421, 421.20 level. So it's looking pretty good. And let's see, Hunter says Tesla up a small amount. So TSLA, yeah, look at that. It actually is starting to come up after that huge drop yesterday. That was a terrible drop. I know that Chinese sales news was terrible. They almost lost like 50% on their sales from like 18,000 vehicles sold down to like 9,000. So that was pretty bad. And Shelby says, thoughts on XERS? We were talking about it in SM chat. So let's go check it out. XERS is starting to move up today a little bit. It was up a lot in pre-market, fell off a little bit at open, but I like how it's holding this $4.20 level and moving back up, and it's off the 200 SMA. So hopefully that can be a good level for it to hold today. But on the 1 year daily, this stock looks like it is starting to pop back up, and it is moving well off of a bottom support level right at $3, and $3 is going to be very key for XERS Pharmaceuticals. And I don't know what they do fundamentally, but I think it looks like it would be a good play, especially off of that support. And if it can keep just having momentum, it's just a solid momentum play in general. And if it can break 460 today, I think that would be awesome, but I don't know any fundamentals about it. Let me know in the chat if there's any fundamental reason. I know Hunter was talking about it, so Hunter, definitely let me know if you know anything about it. But XERS looks very good actually. If it can break 460, has a lot of momentum, but it is up a lot the past couple days, so be a little wary. That's probably why it's red at open right now, but overall pretty good movement. And now let's go check out the SPY again, and it's recovering back up. So there we go. I had a couple red candles on the 1 minute. Now we're heading back to the upside. Go look at QQQ, really ripping. Wow, yeah, that QQQ is actually, this is pretty crazy actually. QQQ's flying. Let's go check out like Apple and Microsoft, Nvidia, and the others. So yeah, Apple is actually looking pretty good off of some of these lows down here. Really looking like it's ripping up in the middle of the day here. Let's go check out Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft is up as well. Amazon, AMZN, up pretty big as well. Go check out Nvidia again. Yeah, they're really ripping up to 694 right now. I think they're breaking their high of day as we speak. Yes, they are. So hopefully they can start really ripping up. I'm hoping they can hit $700 maybe over the next couple of days. I think that would be a pretty good move. And honestly, that might be a big level in people's minds. If it hits 700, watch out, because it might pose a pretty good psychological resistance for it. And let's see, we have Matt saying SENS and WINT gapped up. So Sensonic, let's go check it out. It actually looks pretty good. Yeah, it did kind of gap up this morning, had a big gap up yesterday in after hours, and then it actually is kind of consolidating today, but it looks like it's trying to pop back up. Overall, I'm more of neutral on this one. I really liked the move on it yesterday. I don't know what kind of catalyst it had, but that was such a big pop that I'm not surprised to see it coming back a little bit. And then let's go see WINT really quick. And WINT is kind of moving to the downside, which is a little bit unfortunate today. It's not the worst in the world, but I will say it's definitely lost a lot of that momentum that it had moving to the upside. And with it being a penny stock, it's just something that personally I just don't trade too much. I know Mike isn't too big into these lower price stocks either. And then Vicky says, good morning, STNE, Lululemon, and Nucor, please. So STNE, let's go look at it really quick. Looks like there's a pretty big support here around $64. I think if it can hold that today, it would be pretty good. If it keeps going below that, make it hold 63. But overall, it kind of popped up and hit this 1,000 SMA at open and then just kind of tanked off. If it breaks to the upside above $65, that'll be right above the 1000 SMA here on the 1 minute, and that usually is a pretty good sign, especially when it's at a key resistance like $65. So I would say make it break 65 on STNE, but it does look like a pretty good setup. And I know Lululemon has been killing it lately. Let's go see the daily. I know they've kind of been recovering back to the upside, but it looks like they might be heading back down now. I don't know. It looks like a little bit of a lower high here on the daily. Personally, I'm more of neutral on Lulu. I don't know what the movement was, and earnings were yesterday, so I don't really like that one too much. But Nucor, Nucor's not even coming up on my chart. Oh, it's NUE. So there we go. Yeah, this one's ripping. This one looks like a pretty good setup, I'd say. On the daily, it's looking very strong. It might actually come back up to $110. So Vicky, I think Nucor out of those are the best ones that you said. And Hunter says just huge call option buys and a big short interest. So yeah, that's a cool thing to hear about XERS. So anything with of course a big short interest, of course, has the potential to squeeze, which is a pretty good thing there. And Jorge says CRWD and CHPT had good earnings yesterday, but they're still falling. So let's go see CHPT. I know I like this stock. It's a pretty good EV charging stock, I should say. And yeah, you can see they are kind of falling off, but they let's go look at the 1 minute. They are trying to recover. Like on the 1 minute, they have a pretty nice green candle coming back to the upside, which is decent. But I will say with those earnings, I just don't like to play earnings. So for me, CHPT is just out the window. But CRWD, CrowdStrike, is actually falling quite a bit. So maybe you could get this one as a play to the downside over the next few days, especially with the way it kind of double topped here at like 227. That's actually a pretty key like double top there. It looks like a little M pattern as well, and I wouldn't be surprised if we broke this 100 SMA on the daily and kept going down on CRWD. So thanks for bringing this one to my attention, because off of this resistance it looks pretty good. I'm actually gonna draw a little resistance line here and make it 3 on the width so we can all see it. But yeah, there we go. It's moving to the downside, which is pretty nice. And we have Shelby asking about LVS, which is Las Vegas Sands, and it is actually recovering up a little bit today. We can see it's kind of holding those lows of yesterday around 56.75 and then moving back to the upside. I like it today. It looks pretty strong, and hopefully it can start to recover, because that opening yesterday was not good at all. Give me 1 second. We have Bradley saying you think SNDL can break all-time highs this summer. Let's go see. SNDL. I think it can. I mean, it's a marijuana stock. Well, I went on the yearly. I didn't realize the all-time high was at $4. I knew it was high. I thought maybe it was somewhere maybe around like 250 or 3. But yeah, looking at it again, the all-time high is somewhere around $4. Personally, I'm not sure it can break that this summer. I think maybe we can retest it, but it looks like marijuana stocks are starting to rip up. And SNDL, of course, has had a lot of chatter on Wall Street Bets and others, so it looks pretty good, actually. I'm just not sure it could break all-time highs. That's a pretty big thing to predict, but overall, I mean, there's just great movement in it either way, which is a great thing to see. And then we have, let's see, we have Vincent saying thoughts on SOFI today and the long term. So Sophie, SOFI technology. Wow, yeah, did this one IPO a few days ago? I actually haven't heard about it, but it looks like it IPO'd pretty recently, and it looks like it's moving to the downside though. Personally, I don't know what they do, but for the long term, I think that obviously it's going to come down to fundamentals and what they do as a company, how much profits they can make, and etc. I'll say though, it does look decent on the chart since IPO, and whenever stocks IPO like this, they have a lot of crazy movement a lot of the time. We can go look at some other ones like Coinbase, for example. I know that they might not be the same type of stock, but Coinbase, whenever it IPO'd, it kind of went crazy, just, to the downside. So always be careful with stocks that IPO'd like SOFI, if that's what happened. And D2 says buying AMC today. So let's go back and check it out again. And there we go. Initially it opened, it was starting to look pretty bad with that sell-off, but I like this. It's starting to come back. It's holding this 100 SMA, which is pretty key actually on the 1 minute chart. See this purple 100 SMA down here on the 1 minute? It usually holds up if the stocks keep bouncing off of that at open. So I honestly really like this setup. And like I said earlier in the stream, I think we might head up to somewhere towards $58 today. If we can break 58, then I think we could go even higher, 60, and then obviously above 60, maybe we can fly back up to 68, which was like the high of yesterday. So overall, AMC looking pretty hot today again. Lots of buyers coming in, and just keep in mind, like we saw this type of movement with GME. Let's go look at it on the daily really quick. So let's go look at GME on the 1 year daily, and I'll show you what I'm talking about right here. So you can see on January 25th, GME really ran up, gapped up probably in pre-market, and then ended up it actually went up a little bit at open and then ended up tanking all the way back off and posted red on the day. But then the very next day, it rocketed all the way back up to 373 and even higher. So keep in mind that this could happen again with AMC here. GME is running up today as well. It's up 1%, but whenever you see this movement and it's just like one down day on AMC, keep in mind that it could still have potential to still go up. But at the same time, it's going to be a pretty risky play. It's always risky with stocks like GME and AMC. But overall, it looks pretty strong. And I think if we can break above 55, AMC should be a good play. And Jelani says, go check out Twitter. So let's see, TWTR. She says it's about to pop. Or yeah, they say it's about to pop. So let's see. Go ahead and make it break above 58.67 today. It does look like it is, actually. And there's a pretty big resistance there. And if it breaks above that, it does look like a decent play to the upside. And what I really like is the 1 year daily. It actually looks very good. And I like this key blue trend line. So let me show you guys this trend line. Now let me go to the max daily really quick so we can see exactly where the bottom is on this. But so, okay, there we go. So going all the way back to March of 2020, we can see whenever that COVID drop happened, now we can see how this blue trend line is pretty much held up, going to the upside this whole entire time with Twitter. And it actually pulled back slightly below this blue trend and then came back and held it right now. And this looks like actually a pretty great play. I like Twitter to the upside, and this does look like a pretty good play, actually. I will say I really like it. Let's go check out the options chain really quickly. So TWTR 7/16, July 12th. Let's go see. There's 195 volume on the 60 calls with 20,000 open interest. That's not bad, actually. Currently at 2.48. That's actually a pretty good play. Twitter to the upside. I like this stock, and it looks like it has a pretty good setup on the daily chart as well. I actually really like this. So Twitter is looking pretty decent today to the upside. I'm actually going to go ahead and do a position really quick, but let me just go ahead and I don't take them on here, so let me go ahead and get on something else really quick. But let's see, it says $60, 248, right around like 252. So there we go. That's not bad. I actually really like Twitter to the upside. Thank you for bringing that one to my attention. Let's go check out Ford. Yeah, Ford is flying up, but it is starting to tank off today. It was up in pre-market, but it's up so much the past few days. Don't be surprised if Ford comes down a little bit. And we have DOCU kind of running up again also today. This is actually a pretty big move to the upside. I actually really like this. It looks like a decent play. Overall, it looks pretty decent, I will say. And if it can break above like 222, I think it could be good, but it's ran up quite a bit, so I don't know what to think. It's almost overextended for today, up 12.7%. I don't know how much more it could keep going. Shelby says Microsoft for next week. Let's go check it out. So we have the big green candle today on Microsoft and tech. I honestly think Microsoft could be great for next week. It had a pretty good double bottom here at 238. Personally, I think if we break above like 250, we could start to really break out here, and it could be a pretty good play. Let me go check out Twitter one more time. It's starting to look pretty good. Microsoft moving to the upside. Let me go check out AMC really quick. And guys, just give me 1 second. I have to go update a position really quick, but let me go to AMC's 1 minute chart just so we can watch something moving while it's going on. But just give me 1 second. It's going to go quiet for about 15 seconds or so. All right, and I am back. Let's see, AMC going ahead and moving up. Let's see it. It's actually bouncing down off of $56. It's not a good sign to see today with AMC at all. You know, that's actually pretty unfortunate to see. I would have liked to see it keep going up, but honestly, it's so volatile. We all kind of expected this to happen. So let's go see. Alicia says, what about FSLY entry today for the long term? So Fastly, let's go check it out. FSLY looking pretty good off of these bottoms actually on the 1 year daily. I think if it could break above like $50, it could be really good out of Fastly. But keep in mind, it's really died off over the past few months with some of these growth stocks. It did recover back up a little bit, but may definitely make it break back above 50 before you do anything with it, I say, for sure, because this is going to be pretty risky. Batal says GameStop to the moon. Let's go see GME. Yeah, it's starting to come up a little on the 1 minute. Let's check it out. Kind of pulling back with AMC, but it tried to come up this morning. So hopefully, as the day goes on, more buyers can come in because this is looking pretty bad. Yeah, let's go check out BABA. It's starting to kind of bounce off these SMAs and move back to the upside, which is a good thing to see here. So hopefully today, as we move forward, BABA can start to really move back to the upside. I think it still looks like it has a lot of potential and just gonna keep holding. So that's a pretty good play there. Shelby says A, B, and B. Let's go check it out. Airbnb looks really good actually off the 200 and 100 SMA. I really like that right there at open. A lot of strength. There is resistance coming up at 148 right at the 1000 SMA also, but it looks pretty good actually to the upside. I actually like it. So if it can break above like 148, I think it could be a pretty good play out of Airbnb. And Corbin says, what do you think? Do you think Workhorse will come back? I have a $17 call for next week. So let me go ahead and check out Workhorse really quick. WKHS Workhorse. Yeah, let's see. It's actually, well, there's a pretty good support at like 1340. It might hold there today, but yeah, it doesn't look good. It honestly looks like it's going to break it to me, but there is a pretty good, green candle here off of that bottom. So maybe it will pop up off of here, but below these SMAs and stuff, it's just looking pretty bad to me. Let's go check out the daily. You have the 17 calls for next week. Yeah, the daily's not looking good. It hit that 100 SMA with that big candlestick and that wick to the upside there. That's not a good sign usually whenever these stocks have these big wicks extending up and then they hit that and then they come back down. That's normally a bad sign, but it came all the way down to support. It had a pretty big move actually, going from $18 all the way back down to below 14 down to 13.50 now. So that's a pretty big move. I would say it looks like it might bounce off this support intraday. But if it's the 17 calls for next week, it's just not looking good. I don't know when you bought them. If you bought them after the drop, like early this morning or something, I think it would have been a pretty good play. But if you got it yesterday, that's just a very unfortunate thing to see with it keep continuing to go down like this. Hang on one sec. Hey, Roberto saying, good morning, guys. Watching CRSR. Can it break above $35? I actually really like Corsair, CRSR. I think that stock's awesome for the long term. It's actually going off of a key resistance, though, right at 35 and moving to the downside. So that's a bad sign to see. There is a big chip shortage right now. I'm not sure if that's hurting Corsair or not, but on the max daily, it's not looking too good. On the 15-minute chart, it's also not looking good. It kind of hit, like I said, right off of that 35 resistance and came to the downside. So honestly, CRSR, I think it could be good, like you said, off of $30. I love it for the long term, but I think that in the short term, it might keep dying off a little bit. Hopefully, it doesn't fall below 30. If it can hold that, I think it would be awesome. Like you said, $30 is definitely a huge support on it. So let me go ahead and draw actually a support at 30. And if it falls below 30, I'll definitely be getting way more shares. And then just keep in mind, if it hits 30, I would just average in. It's hit it quite a few times. And then you can always get in again at like 32 and average your price into at 31, just in case it keeps going, because it honestly looks like it could keep going. I see another support down there at 25. And with the chip shortage and everything, like I said, that might affect them in a weird way, but I really like Corsair and some of these gaming stocks for the longer term. And Vicky says PAGS, please, PAGS, PAGS. I've never heard of this stock. I can't even say this one. I'm not even going to attempt that, but let's see it. It's actually bouncing off of $52, looking pretty decent intraday, I will say. Honestly, it looks like it's moving more to the downside, but it is moving well off of $52 back up. So we'll have to see how it goes. But if it can't break above these SMAs, especially like around 52.75, that's going to be a pretty bad time, I think, for this stock. Let's go check out the 1-year daily on it. Yeah, it's actually right at resistance too. I actually really like the recovery here on this one though. It recovered very well from 40 bucks all the way up to 53. Now it's just kind of consolidating. I would not be surprised if it started to come down over the next few days with how much movement we see on this one. I mean, this stock has just went pretty much straight up, so it looks pretty good. And Russ K says, Uber trying to move up. Let's go see it. Uber. Uber, Uber. It is moving pretty good. 48.50, kind of popping back to the upside here. I honestly like it. You know, it looks like a pretty good play today. And honestly, off of these lows of yesterday, it's just went straight up. So that's a good thing to see on the 1-year daily. It looks like it's kind of trying to hold support around 48.56 too. It worries me that it's like kind of turning off to the downside, but it is consolidating around this 200 SMA. And that could be a good sign. You know, if we start to see more green here, that could be like I said, a great sign for Uber, and it might start to go back to the upside. And I've also heard some stuff with Uber lately where they're doing some stuff like if you get the vaccine, you get free Ubers and stuff like that. I'm not sure if the government's paying Uber for that or not, but overall, that's a pretty good play, I think. And honestly, for the long term, I think stocks like Uber and Lyft can be pretty decent. Let's go check out LYFT. See how it's kind of moving today. See if it's red. Yeah, it's kind of red too. Turning off maybe to the downside a little bit also. So we'll just have to see how these stocks move over the next couple of months. But honestly, Uber doesn't look too bad. But let's go see that 5-minute again. It's kind of coming down now intraday. It was holding up earlier. But overall, it, like I said, it's just went straight up off of that low yesterday. So it's not the worst. And then we have Vicky saying Fubo. F-U-B-O. Fubo. I actually really like this stock. It's a sports streaming stock. I love sports. I love sports. I watch them every night. I watch baseball, soccer, everything. And let's see, if it moves above 29, I think that would be a great play. Let's check out the 1-year daily. Yeah, Vicky, thank you. This actually looks like a pretty good play actually. You know, I don't go all in just because I'm saying it's a great play or anything, but this does look pretty nice on the daily. It has a pretty good green candle today. Looks like it's pointing just straight back to the upside. If it can break above $29, I think Fubo could be a pretty big runner. So I'll definitely be watching this one today to see what can happen with this, because Fubo does look pretty decent. Let's go check out like DraftKings and Penn really quick. DraftKings is trying to move back to the upside. Kind of went up today. Let's go check out PENN though. Penn is moving pretty well. MGM Casino moving up today again as well after falling yesterday. So that's a good sign to see some of these like casino/gaming stocks going up again also. We have Matt saying Tesla fake pump or are we gonna dump? It looks like it may shoot up. Let's go see TSLA. It does still look pretty decent. You know, this is a good move back to the upside this morning. Let's go check out the 1-minute. It's moving well above the 1000 SMA. I love that it broke above the 585 resistance. I think that we could start moving back up today on Tesla, honestly. I would not be surprised right now. Staring at the 1-minute chart, let's go ahead and watch it for the next couple of minutes. I'll be honest, this does look like a pretty good setup here. I feel like Tesla might get some green candles and hopefully move back to the upside since breaking 585. That was a pretty good break, and I think that I think we might start to see it move up today. It is kind of, you know, having some problems here on the 1-minute. It's getting kind of slow and consolidating, so that's not usually a good sign, but we'll just have to see how it starts moving as the day goes on. I wonder how NIO is doing though. Yeah, they're actually coming down as we speak also. So overall, these EV stocks aren't looking the best, which that's not the best sign in the world, but at least right now they were recovering up on the 1-minute earlier on. So here we go. NIO's catching green. Let's see if Tesla can finally be breaking out here, and there we go. Hopefully we can keep getting these green candles on the 1-minute and break out. But with Tesla, it's one of those stocks that's just honestly in a pretty bearish pattern. If we go look at the daily chart, it's pretty much fallen right below this key trend line, and it's proven time and time again that this trend line holds up. I mean, I don't know how many times it has to bounce off this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 or 8 bounces, if you want to count this one, off of this trend line alone, and it's reacted off of it every single time, and it's held up. So that's a good thing to see, and it's held off of this right now, failed to break above it and moved to the downside. And even though we're seeing green today, on Tesla, I have a feeling that it might still go to the downside, just given the technicals that we're seeing. I'm not surprised to see it coming up a little bit today, of course, with how much red we've been seeing. I'm sure that there's some shorts taking profits, and I'm sure that there's some buyers buying it up down here at 570 for the longer term. But keep in mind, it could keep going down though in the short term with what we're seeing with the technicals. And then we have Jorge saying KO or Coca-Cola is breaking out today. So let's go check it out. KO moving up above $56 up to 56.48. Yeah, that's actually a pretty big move for KO, up 1.3% on the daily. Yeah, you're right. It is breaking right out. That's a good sign to see with KO, actually. A very good move. Let's go see how much of it. Okay, cool. It was right at open. I was going to say, I wondered how much of it was in pre-market trading, and that can usually hinder, how we can play it. But that was a pretty good breakout today, I will say, on KO. It does look pretty decent. And on the daily, it looks like it could keep running also. Let me go to the max daily chart really quick to find some key resistances. But yeah, I would say coming up, there's a pretty big resistance around 57.50, and we're at 56.34 right now, so we're about a point away from that. But KO is a slow and steady stock, and look at how slow and steady it truly is. Like, it took quite a long time to move from $53 up to $56. It took like 3 months, from like March all the way to June. So KO is a pretty slow moving stock. Honestly, I would get it with some time, just because of how many times it just goes flat slash like consolidates. Like I said, it moves very slow. But with this breakout, like I said, it's a pretty good play. So hopefully it can keep going to the upside for you. And Roberto says, thank you, man. I had some short-term calls. I didn't sell them yesterday. Oh man, yeah. I mean, that's not a good thing, but it's okay. That happens, and hopefully it can go back up for you. Let me go find out the stock again. It was called CRSR. That's right, Corsair. CRSR. Let's go see if it's maybe coming back to the upside for you, Roberto. And yeah, there we go. It is trying to pop back up, but overall, like I said, it was down quite a bit, which is never a good sign. But if with the market going up, that's normally good. And we have Shelby saying, played Twitter with you. 55 strikes, 715. Let's go check it out. Twitter looks like it's about to break out right now. I think I'm going to play the 60 strike here. The 60 strike for 7/16, July 16th at like 248, where it would be like where it is right now. That's where I'm going to play it if it can break out above 58.67, and it's about to. So there we go. That would be the entry right here on Twitter, and we would see how much it could run up today. Of course, now I'm kind of missing it, but it's okay. Here we go. It's moving to the upside. Let's go see it on the 1 minute, see how much it can go here. But yeah, that was a good move. And I think that as we start to move today, it'll be a pretty decent play. Going on to the upside. Overall, it does look like it's breaking out, and I really like it. It looks like it could really fill this gap, and it could be a pretty good play. I think I'm gonna do this one actually. So it does look pretty decent to the upside, which is always a good sign to see. So let's go ahead and just watch it on the 1 minute really quick. Let me go update my position really quick. 60 calls. I actually really like Twitter right now. That was a good call out by whoever called that out in the chat. I actually really like this play for a gap over the next like couple of months to possibly fill that gap to the upside. It looks like such a solid play. Right now, let's see, it's at 2.51. Perfect. Currently at 2.51. It's a pretty good play. I actually really like Twitter here. I'm gonna hold it for a couple of week swing. I think actually it's a pretty good play overall. So let's go ahead and see how that moves over the next few days. But SPY, let's go check that one out. Still ripping up today, breaking a tie of day as we speak on the 1 minute, right there above 421.50. I was hoping once we broke above 421, we could keep going, and that poses a good support for us to bounce off of and move back to the upside. I really like that, and overall, it's a pretty good play. But I will say that SPY, it's up a lot. So like I said, there could be some consolidation here. But let me go just sit on AMC for 1 second. Let's see if it can kind of consolidate here at this 100 SMA. Kind of hope it moves back to the upside. It's not looking good. It looks like there's some sell-off going on. That's not a good thing. Hang on 1 second, just updating another position. All right, went ahead and got that going, but yeah, so let's go ahead and see here. AMC, I actually really like this play. Hopefully it can hold. I will say it's getting a little scary. Make it hold $49. That's always a scary thing to see. I mean, honestly, anything like that is always a pretty scary thing whenever it's coming down like this, like it is today. But overall, it is up still this morning. You know, I mean, well, it is actually down negative 2.3%, but you can see the daily chart is posting greens because since open, it's been green anyways, but looks like it might hold here. You know, we're seeing the 1 minute kind of try to bounce back to the upside, and I'm really hoping AMC can hold right here. Corbin says, I'm always in the right plays, only at the wrong time. Yeah, I know, Corbin. Sometimes it can be like that, you know, just always keep going, always truck through, you know, always don't ever quit. You know, that's the main thing. In the very beginning, I lost a lot of money too. Everybody does. So there's always going to be mistakes in trading, and just power through and kind of understand where you went wrong there. And that's just the main thing. So if the timing is some problems, then maybe just, you know, obviously try to change the timing up. But that's just some advice I have, is just kind of analyze the trades and see like what went wrong. That way you can just kind of look. When we have James saying, good morning, guys, AMC and SPCE. Let's go see. So AMC or SPCE. So yeah, we just covered AMC. Oh, that's not the right ticker, of course. SPCE here popping to the upside. I think if it can break above 32.25, it could be a good play. But honestly, on the daily with it kind of posting lower highs, I'm really worried about this play, to be honest. I would not buy this one personally. I think it's way overextended, and there's lots of insiders that sold a lot of their shares also. If it can break above $35 though, I think it could be great. You know, that's a great level. It's failed to break above it 1, 2, 3 times in the past now. So if it fails to break above it again and starts to go down, I'm not going to play it. But if it can break above 35, I think it could be an awesome play. Roberto says, yes, thanks, man. So awesome. We have James saying, riding solo today, Tom. LOL. So yeah, I am kind of riding solo. Mike is a little bit busy for the next few days, guys. He will be back next Wednesday. But overall, it's just yeah, he's just been a little bit busy. So don't fret, he will be back. But yeah, I'm just riding solo for the next few days. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right back into these questions. Shelby says, BB, please. So we go ahead and look at BlackBerry moving to the downside. Not a good sign. You know, it's kind of moving like AMC, honestly worrying me a lot. Moving below the SMAs, you know, like we've seen a lot of these stocks today moving up above the SMAs, which is a good sign. Or like AMC was trying to hold that 100 SMA right here. See how it's still above there, but BlackBerry's kind of below and kind of selling off. So that's not a good sign. There's a huge support on BlackBerry at $14. If it breaks below that today, who knows how big the sell-off could keep, who knows how like large it could be. But in the end, I really like it, and BlackBerry looks pretty good, maybe for a play to the downside, but there is some supports coming up. So just be a little careful. But it recently broke below like the 1450 to 15 support, which is a pretty good sign. And let's go ahead and check out CCL. We have Batal saying CCL is tanking. So let's go check it out. CCL, yeah, it is kind of selling off, but the good news is that CCL is still holding $30. I think that's a great sign to see. If we go look at the daily, it kind of broke up above 30 and is just holding. So don't be surprised if we see a couple days of consolidation and then a pop to the upside. I actually saw a good article this morning. Let me go ahead and find it really quick if I can, about CCL and Carnival Cruise Corporation. I saw some great news today, and let's see if we can find it. Let's go ahead and see if we can find it. But I saw some news that they actually had their ship called the Mardi Gras was going to go ahead and leave from Port Canaveral, Florida, or it finally came back to Port Canaveral, Florida. And they're kind of like prepping to get back into sailing again out of the United States, which is a great sign. And that's pretty much saying what's going to go on. Let's go ahead and check out some of this news today, though. We have job creation accelerated in May, but are still below lofty expectations. Let's see. Non-farm payrolls increased 559,000 in May, below the 671,000 estimate. So that's never a good sign. The unemployment rate fell to 5.8%. There we go, slightly better than expected, below April's 6.1%. So that's a good thing. And hospitality again led job creation with 292,000 new positions. So that's a good thing to see. You know, overall the jobs, they didn't look too bad today. That's probably what made the SPY go ahead and rip up. I know Powell talked this morning before the market opened also. I'm not sure that he had too much of an effect or not, but this is awesome to see that the SPY is still ripping up here. Let me go check BABA really quick, and BABA's looking pretty good actually. It's moving back to the upside. Looks like a pretty good play. There is some resistance coming up somewhere around like 219, so we do have some resistance. Let's go check out the daily. Looks pretty good actually. The green candle looks decent, so I think I'm just going to keep holding that one. Let's go to the 5-day 15-minute. Looks pretty good. Let's see. Hunter says that headline is a good way to phrase the job numbers suck again. Yeah, that's kind of true. Oh wow, construction lost 20,000. Let me go back. Let me go see that again. That's not good to see. Construction lost 20,000. That's never good to see. Yeah, here's the US job growth chart. So you can see it is kind of, getting a little bit better than April at least. April was kind of bad, but overall the job growth has been terrible. Yeah, that's not good to see, Hunter, with construction losing that many. I mean, that's, yeah, there we go. Construction lost 20,000 positions while retail was also down. So that's pretty bad, but it says that public and private education are gaining. So that's good at least, but manufacturing is good. Information's good. Transportation, warehousing. So overall, those numbers are pretty decent. Let's go back to the charts though. Let's go see BABA again. Let's go check out AMC maybe. Oh man, AMC is not looking good right now. It's still, yeah, it actually just fell below that 100 SMA. Not a good sign. It's still holding on some of these SMAs though. You can see that it's holding like, oh man, like right along the 200, the 500, and the 300. So there's a few of them like right in one area that it's kind of trying to hold, and it's at support like around 48. If it falls below 48, I'm gonna be pretty worried. I think about AMC. That would be a pretty bad level for it to fall below. That's a pretty unfortunate thing to see actually. Let's go check out BlackBerry. Yeah, BlackBerry is moving to the downside. That's never a good sign when BlackBerry is going down like this. Obviously that's a pretty bad thing to see. On the 1 minute, at least we're seeing some green candles now. That's always a good sign, but overall today, very bad, down 8%. Let's go see the 1 year daily. Yeah, just not looking good. Looks like it has lower highs from last time. That doesn't mean it can't go up over the next couple of days, but for right now, with the implied volatility being so high and stuff, some of these put options are probably going to lose a ton of money. Like here, I'll actually go, I'll bring up some of the charts here for some of these put options on, let's just say BlackBerry, for example. So let's go check out the put options expiring today, just to give a very good example. We'll even go to the 15 ones. We'll even go to ones that are in the money, just to even, show you how volatile these things can be. So let's go ahead and see here. So here's an in the money BlackBerry put. Okay, so we can see here's the puts here going from a low of 42 cents up to a high of $1. That's a pretty scary thing to see. Now let's go check out the calls really quick. I think this is where we're going to see some stuff go kind of crazy. So we'll go look at the $15 calls on the Thinkorswim chart, and we'll see how much it's lost from this morning. So the calls had highs this morning around 173 and fell all the way off to 51 cents or $51, guys. That's never a good sign. That's because the implied volatility is up so high, and you guys should never really play options that expire the same day, of course, because this is what happens. If the movement goes a little against you, it definitely will rocket this down 67%. That implied volatility was pretty high, and that's a pretty big drop from 173 all the way down to 53 cents. And honestly, like, this is only the $15 call. So if BlackBerry stays below 15, that's going to be pretty bad, and that call is probably obviously going to expire worthless today. So we'll have to see how the movement goes, but that's the type of volatility we're really seeing out of these stocks, like BlackBerry and AMC and others. Like some of those calls that expired today really got ripped on, and man, that was just a bad drop to see, down like 80% or 70% on those. But let's go see AMC again. It's kind of holding there we go. It kind of held those SMAs and has some good movement on the 1 minute chart, which is always good to see. It's always nice to see that it's coming back and holding. It is scary to me though, just because of how much it's been down today overall, of course, which is never a good sign. So let's go ahead and see what we have going on today. We have the SPY rocketing to the upside, and let's go ahead and see the SPY has a pretty good resistance coming up here around 421. 62, which is pretty good. I will say if it can break above that, look for a continuation. The SPY's been moving very well today on the daily. Looks like it might be coming back up to test all-time highs. I was pretty worried about SPY double topping around 422 and moving to the downside. Let me go to this 15-minute just so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, here we go. Here's the high on SPY at 423.59 in after hours, and then in regular trading hours it's right around like 423 even, or like 422.80, and we can see it hit that a couple days ago and started tanking off. I'm really glad it's moving back up right now. It held that 1000 SMA, and overall today looking great. Let's go check out the 1 minute and see how it's moving. I think I saw some more green coming into this stock. Let's go ahead and drag this over really quick. Looks like it's still trying to break out, which is an amazing thing to see here for the SPY. I mean, overall, great movement to the upside, and that's just always a good thing to see with the SPY. It's going to drag a lot of other stocks up with it. I wonder if Tesla is still going. Let's see. Yeah, Tesla was still running up for quite a while today, up 4%, almost up to $600. Definitely watch out for a resistance there. I think that's going to be a pretty big level to watch, is 600. Obviously, Tesla's a huge stock. People love it. It is kind of in a downward trend right now, but for today, it's had a pretty big move. Now it's kind of consolidating, so we'll just have to see how it goes. I'm sure NIO is kind of ran and now consolidating also. Yeah, NIO was running, and now that one's actually selling off pretty hard, but they failed to break out, kind of like how Tesla broke out. But give me 1 second. I have Dre saying you think NOK is a good play for the short term. Let's go check out Nokia. For the short term, I think it is honestly a pretty good play. Let me go check out the daily. Well, it is getting pretty overextended above $5. I really like it at $5. I think if you would have gotten it at a breakout above that, it would have been a little bit better of a time than now. For the short term, as of today, let's go check it out on the 5 minute. Looks like it is recovering up nicely off this support around 540. So I think that it does look pretty decent for a play today if it can start to move up. There's a resistance around $5.60, but I think that if we start to see BlackBerry, AMC, GameStop, and others start to go up, I think that this is going to be a pretty good play. And guys, please don't forget to like the stream. It helps me out a lot. Of course, it'll make Mike happy even if you guys like it. So getting a little jokes, but that's pretty funny. Let's go ahead and see what Quentin says. Quentin Pierce says, can you check out ZM for me? Zoom. Let's go see it. ZM moving to the upside very well. I actually like this play. This is pretty good. I had this on my I believe I called this out as my free day trade for today, and this is a pretty good move back to the upside today. It has a high all the way up here around 340, which is pretty far away, but overall it broke above like 325, which has been a great level, moving up above 330. Definitely, guys, if you guys aren't in the Discord, go check out the links below, or yeah, go check out the links below. I'll even throw up a link in the chat here for you guys to join, but it's a pretty good day overall. And we have the SPY ripping up, we have Zoom ripping up. That's a huge play with Zoom, actually, up above 320. I will say we're getting close to resistances now, but this has been a great play all day long, I think. Awesome play. I went ahead and threw the Discord link in the chat if anybody wants to join it. This does look like an awesome move, though, up above 330. I really like it. Let's go check out the SPY again, though, see if it's still ripping, because it was kind of holding that high. So let's see. There we go. SPY is starting to break out. Let's see if it can finally move up above, and it's about to. And I think we're going to get a pretty big green candle to the upside if it can break here, and it looks like it is definitely about to. So we'll have to see what can happen, but we finally just moved up above that. I noticed the chart kind of move, and I think if we just sit here and watch the SPY for a couple of seconds, we might start to see it go up. But let's go check out the news again just to see if anything new is hit the markets at all. Let's see. Palantir gets aggressive in SPAC investments backing digital health, aviation, and robot companies. That's pretty crazy to see. Google is moving parts of YouTube to its cloud service. That's not too big. Mudrick Capital no longer owns debt or equity in AMC. So that's a pretty crazy thing to hear. I know that they had a lot of shares the other day, and that was obviously a pretty crazy thing to hear. I know Mudrick made like 40 million in one day, but they ended up missing out on 400 million, which was pretty crazy. Let's go check out ZM again, Quentin. Let's go ahead and see that resistance for you. 1 year daily chart. Here's Zoom moving back to the upside. Let me check the 1 minute really quick. Yeah, let's go ahead and say the resistance is going to be right at Yeah, 330, somewhere right around $330. You could say 331. That's a pretty good estimate, very close. So 330, 331. I actually threw a big red trend line on there for you. It hit off of it a few times over the past few days, and that's the main reason there. Let me check out the 90-day, 15-minute, and yeah, you can see it hit off of somewhere right around 330, quite a lot, anywhere between like 330 and 335. There's just a ton of resistance, Quentin. And I love the way it moved up today, but just keep in mind it probably isn't going to have a big like 10% moving day or like a big like 12% move today. So just be a little careful. I think it's just getting a little overextended in the middle of the day. But now let's go see if the SPY is starting to break out yet, because I was hoping we saw some pretty big green candles, and it looks like we're actually seeing it start to turn over. So maybe it's time for the SPY to consolidate slash move back to the downside, but we'll have to see how it's going here. It was starting to break out a little bit, and I was hoping it could start to run, but this is never a good sign now to see it starting to consolidate, but still on the day. This is great, up 0.6%. Let's go check out the Dow Jones slash YM really quick. These are Dow Jones futures. The 1 year daily looking pretty good, actually. Pretty good green day out of that. I wonder how Caterpillar's doing. They're normally ripping. They're up 0.11%. That's pretty decent. Let's go check out Target. I know they're in the Dow. Looking decent, up at 230. Even though they're red on the candle, they're still up 0.25%. We have Walmart kind of looking like it's going to move back to the upside, actually. Let's check out that 15-minute chart. Looks pretty good, actually. Walmart is looking like it might start moving. It's holding some of these supports in the SMAs, and honestly looking like it's moving pretty good here, and I really like that. So let's go ahead and see how that's moving. But the SPY is also, let's see how that one's kind of consolidating back to the downside. Yep, it's kind of just going back down, so that's never a good thing to see. Let's go see Boeing, though. You know, Boeing has been pretty surprising the past couple of days. It is up a lot the past few months, and now it's just kind of consolidating slash slightly going to the downside, which is a pretty negative thing to see if you had to ask me. You know, today, this is not a good sign. It fell below this 250 support. That's terrible, to be honest. Hopefully it can start to recover back with these green candles today and the SPY coming back, but this is a terrible thing to see. Let's go see the 1 year daily. It's really hitting off that big resistance at like 260 also. So overall, just not looking too good on Boeing. And then we have, let's see, we have Shelby saying thoughts on BB after the sell-off today. So let's go check it out. BlackBerry still at those like lows, big support at $14. Honestly, not looking bad. It looks like a pretty good play to the upside, and it's gonna have a pretty good move. So let's go ahead and see BlackBerry. I think if we can hold 15, I think it would be good. Let me check out the 1 year daily. Ah, man, it's just hard to say with BlackBerry. There's another big support around like $12.50. Overall today, I would say this is a straight up gamble. I personally would not bet on this one to come back. I know everybody wants it to come back, obviously, but one thing that I saw, you know, in the YouTube comments that made a lot of sense is that a lot of people who own AMC or who own GameStop, now they're trying to buy other things. You know, they're trying to buy SNDL, they're trying to buy BlackBerry, they're trying to buy a lot of these other stocks, and it's taking a lot of money away from like GameStop and GME and others. And you know, that made a lot of sense whenever I saw that comment. You know, that's a pretty big thing. Like everybody's trying to always find that next play, and hopefully BlackBerry can go up, because I know a lot of people have it. But man, this is just not a good thing to see today, at least in the short term. Over the next couple weeks, it could start to really rip up again, of course. Like I said, with BlackBerry in the past, it had a few red days before it ended up exploding. And just don't be surprised if it ends up exploding like up above $20 like next week or something. But for today, personally, I would not enter any positions on it at all. And Vicky says, thanks for reminding us, Tom. Easy to forget. Yeah, no problem. Pretty easy. So yeah, let's go ahead and see BlackBerry here. See how it's moving. I just want to see on the 1 minute. I want to see if it keeps moving down or moving up. You know, it's going to be a pretty interesting day to see how it ends up going. And honestly, I would say BlackBerry could start to go down again. It looks like on the 1 minute, it's starting to turn to the downside. That's never a good thing to see. And overall, that's just always never a good sign. You know, I'm going to go check out a stock I've been watching a little bit called NNDM. I normally don't like stocks like this, but Nano Dimension has kind of been bouncing pretty well off these supports. It reminds me of a play like Palantir or or Zoom or even like DraftKings or Enphase, it kind of is moving like back to the upside and recovering off of these supports, kind of like one of those stocks are. And I know people have been talking about Nano Dimension for quite a bit, and I think that this stock is moving, looks pretty good off support. Intraday today, it doesn't look too good. If it starts to go down and maybe fall towards $7 or maybe below 7, it might be a pretty good like little pickup for the long term. And Kid California says, was that play the bot or was that my play? That's my play, Kid California. That's my personal play. That's not the bot play. The bot will call out its own play later on, of course. It normally calls them out a little later on in the day, somewhere between like 10 a.m. and like 12 noon. So we'll have to see when it calls it out exactly. But yeah, that's my personal play. So there will be another bot play probably coming up today. Of course, there's always one at least. So keep in mind there might be two, but there, it just depends on what the movement is. But usually there's always one bot play per day, but there might be two. So just watch out later on. We don't know exactly how many it's going to call out, but hopefully it calls out a good one again because it's been on fire. Let's actually but there's been a lot of good bot plays the past few days, to say the least. I know yesterday was a huge play on there, so definitely go watch out, guys. It's had like 4 or 5 winners in a row, so hopefully it can keep up the momentum today. But one thing I just want to say is that even though the bot has been on fire, keep in mind, don't over leverage, don't go all in on it, because there could be some crazy movement. For example, today a lot of these stocks are up quite a bit. If that continuation doesn't continue and they start to move back to the downside or something, who knows, like some breakout could be failed. It's happened every once in a while. The bot has like 2 losses, like 2 or 3 losses out of like a lot of plays. So there's not a lot of losses there, but keep in mind, just don't over leverage. Anything can happen. Don't go all in, of course. That's the main thing. You always have to limit your risk. And even though it's been on fire, like I said, just always be very, very careful. I hate to see someone throw 10 grand in on a bot play and then come back, losing 50% or something like that. So just be a little careful. Let's go ahead and see TT. Let's go ahead and check out T really quick. AT&T, see how that one's moving back to the upside. Actually, it's not. I was hoping it would hold this support around $29. I was gonna go check out TT or TLRY, actually, Tilray. I don't know why I was saying TT. I think I was thinking of a TTCF, Tattooed Chef. That's what I was thinking of. But TLRY looking pretty bad, actually, on the 15-minute. Some of these marijuana stocks are coming back to the downside. I know SNDL has been huge over the past few days. People have been loving SNDL, and now it's kind of moving back to the upside this morning on the 1 minute, which is decent, but it's down a lot today. Definitely look out. SNDL is falling off, kind of like we see AMC and BlackBerry doing. AMC is still holding its ground, even though it's down a little bit, still holding around these SMAs, and hopefully it can go back up, but not looking good. Let's go see BlackBerry again. Yeah, trying to come back. The SPY is kind of consolidating, coming back down, kind of like where we were looking at that breakout area. It just looks like it's failing to break out now and maybe consolidating for the rest of the day. Let's go check out BABA, kind of holding the 100 SMA, but coming back down a little bit. I still think this one has more potential later on, and it doesn't really follow the overall market too much. Let's go check out GLD really quick. Gold is moving up today. That's a decent thing, up 1.1%. Excuse me. Let's go check out. Let's see. Vicky says check FUBO again if you can, please. So let's go see FUBO. Let me know any stocks you guys want to see. It's getting close to 9:30, so definitely let me know if you want to see anything before the stream ends, guys. But I will cover a few of them before I go. And let's see. FUBO is sitting here bouncing off of like 27.40, looking like a pretty good play actually. The 1 year daily looks pretty decent. Like I said earlier, I was hoping FUBO could keep breaking out, but it did end up kind of moving back down with some of these other stocks like AMC. And, it's just unfortunate to see those stocks pulling back the way that they have been. So that's my main concern here with FUBO, is just we're seeing all these other stocks go down. But I think that if you buy this and hold it, it'll be a pretty good play. I think it could be a really good play for the longer term, of course. Let's go look at the 1 year daily. It's still like a long way from highs at $60. It's at 27, so you could still get $100 there. And Roberto says, I'm watching TTCF. Yeah, I was going to go back to that. Let's go check out Tattooed Chef. Still looking pretty decent. The daily looks good. Holding the 100 SMA. Looks really good, actually, for a move to the upside. I really like it. Let me go check out the 1 minute. Yeah, this is moving really well above these SMAs. I really like Tattooed Chef, and I don't even know, what they do as a company fundamentally, but just the chart has been looking very solid for the past like few weeks to few months. So it does look very, very good, like a pretty good play to the upside. It's just a big growth stock though, so always be careful. Let's check out DAL. That's going to be a pretty big thing to look at here. DAL moving to the downside. Yeah, that's a little worrisome. Hit off of this 1,000 SMA and a pretty big resistance at like 48.50, coming down now. It's holding the 100 SMA though, which is decent. If it keeps going down too much today, it'll probably break below that on that daily chart. But overall, the 1 year daily does look pretty decent, over the past 6 months. But it's almost up so much that just don't be surprised if it consolidates a little bit. But I think it might hold these supports like around $45 and maybe be a pretty good play to the upside. I think that would be a pretty decent thing to see it hold $45. And let's see, we have Nisha or Nish saying thoughts on INTC. So Intel. I've actually really liked Intel for the past couple of months, ever since it had the big drop back down to this support around $53. This is probably my most drawn up chart here. I love Intel actually for the longer term. I've traded them a lot in the past. I had some pretty good trades on them. I bought one of them at $48. I had a lot of shares there. Went ahead and unloaded them at like 52. Didn't get out at the exact top, but 52 was close. Then I bought in again at this white circle, and at the time the white circle held up. It moved all the way up to 56, but I wasn't able to exit there. I had to end up getting out at 54 as it came down the next day. But then I ended up getting in even again off of this green trend line down here at the bottom at $45 and rode it all the way up to 60 and ended up selling out right there. So it was a pretty good trades out of Intel for me, and it's just off of key supports. And honestly, it's kind of sitting right on a key resistance at $58, but it does look like a pretty good play. Like it could start to go back up and fill this gap, maybe back to the upside, kind of like what I'm looking at, like with Twitter, kind of. Twitter almost looks like it might fill this gap back to the upside over the next couple of days to maybe week. And I think that is almost like what we're looking at with Intel here. I really like Intel. They have a lot of competition with AMD and Nvidia, of course, which always hurts them, but Intel's going to innovate, and of course they're probably just going to start making their CPUs faster and faster and faster. So that's a big thing to look for. I think if they just obviously they have to come out with some good technology and just innovate a little bit better. AMD has kind of been changing up their architecture a little bit more than Intel has. So we're going to have to see Intel kind of push the boundaries a little bit on the CPUs and see like what kind of performance they can get. And then we have Bravo saying, what about BA, and Gabriel saying AMC is pumping. So let's see. AMC pumping back up. Is it holding these SMAs? Look at that. It held those SMAs coming back. So don't be surprised if we see it continue up. I really like that it held these lows of the day, which is the support right around 48.50, and the SMAs. That's awesome. This is always a good thing to see on stocks moving back to the upside, and it's always a good thing to see. So that's great to see. And then we have, we had Bravo asking about Boeing also. So let's go see BA again, moving back up to the upside, but it is kind of hitting off of this 100 SMA and kind of consolidating. So we're just going to have to see how this one plays out. But overall, looks like a pretty decent setup. I like Boeing for the longer term, back to the upside. I just think that in the short term, it's hitting some resistances and might keep kind of like moving back to the downside. And let's see, Bravo then says, these value stocks look lower today and growth sound better, like DraftKings, Tesla, OKTA, MSF. Yeah, I think that's true. DKNG, yeah, moving back up today. It looks pretty decent. Overall, Tesla, let's go check that one out. Yeah, a pretty good green day, but still down, still below these some of that key trend line, which is never good to see. And then we have, what was the other one? OKTA and MSF. So OKTA, this one was actually pretty bearish over the past week, but hopefully it can hold these supports and maybe go back and fill that gap back up over like the next like few weeks. But I don't know. This one looks pretty scary to trade. MSF. No, not MSFT. MSF. Oh, I can't even bring up MSF. Morgan Stanley something. I don't know what that is, but MSFT itself does look very good. MSFT is bouncing off the 100 SMA. Bravo. Let me know what MSF is. I can't find that one on the chart. And then we have Quentin saying, where is Zoom's next resistance. Let's go see if Zoom kept breaking out today because it was looking good. Yeah, there we go. Look, Zoom ended up breaking out above 330, which would have been an awesome level if you just would have waited for it to break out and then bought on the first move. It would have been a pretty good play up to 333. I have another resistance coming up at 333.50. So as we go on today, Quentin, definitely watch out for that. And I think that'll be a pretty good level is 333.50. And then if we break that, then I think up to 340, like you said, could be a very good play. And cool, Bravo. Yeah, MSFT. That makes more sense now because that was looking like a pretty strong play today. I will say it's up a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if it kept going on later in the day, but just keep in mind, like look over here, it opened yesterday. You can see it tanked off and then it kind of went back to the upside and then consolidated all day. So since we went way to the upside today, don't be surprised if we come down to maybe like 249 and just consolidate, or just consolidate maybe at like 250. But honestly, I think it could move. I think it'll be a little later on in the day. I don't think it's gonna just keep rocketing up right now. It's already up 1.7%. And on the daily chart, Microsoft's actually looking very, very strong. That's actually a very bullish candle that we saw yesterday on the daily with Microsoft. I think they call it a bullish hammer is what they call it because it looks almost like Thor's hammer here. You can see the candle is kind of like it has that bottom wick and ended up closing green up there at the top. It looks like Thor's hammer, or like I said, like a bullish hammer. So that's a pretty good sign on the if you're into those type of technicals with the candlesticks. But that MSFT is looking pretty decent though overall anyways, as tech overall is. We have QQQ flying up. I'll get a couple more questions out of the way here. Bravo says, basically this report means we are reopening but slow, which is why I think TNX is low. Tech bounces. Sounds like tech's the way to go. Bravo says MSFT, but alrighty guys, sounds good. Have a good one. I appreciate you guys checking in for the stream. Definitely join the Discord link. I'll post it again. There's another invite link. I just let it go in the chat. But thank you guys for watching. If you guys could hit that like button, I really appreciate it. Hunter says he loves hammers. Yeah, Hunter, you're banning a lot of people in there lately. That hammer's been swinging. It's keeping that chat clean. I appreciate it, Hunter. Always making sure it's a nice, safe community for everyone. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Hopefully AMC can keep ripping. Let's check it out once before I go on the 1 minute chart. Yeah, there we go. Holding these SMAs, really ripping. I think that this might be a good play for the rest of the day if you guys want to watch it. If it breaks up above 52.70, definitely look at it. Looks like it's going to run. But guys, have a great day. I'll see you guys Monday morning.